Hello everyone. It's me again. We're back on another session, and for now, we will be discussing the contents of the module 2. Now, before I proceed sa discussions with regards to sa module 2, which talk about the market globalism, let's recap muna yung sa previous module, which is the module 1. So dun sa first topic na first two videos ko, it talks about the globalization. Yung una, we talk about the meaning of the globalization. And yung pangalawa is yung importance, advantages, disadvantages, and yung yung role ng globalization in terms of politics, social, and of course, the cultural. So, yun yung mga diniscuss ko previously. Ano? So, for today, we will be discussing market globalism. Now, here is an overview of the world economy. Now, this data came from April 2019, so last year. And its previous reports on 2017 and 2018. Now, before so my apologies lang na I just hope na mabasa nyo to sa YouTube or kung hindi nyo man mabasa, pwede ko siyang i-upload sa SlideShare or maybe sa aking Google Drive para makita ninyo. Now, um, in 2017 and 2018, the global economy activity slowed notably on the second half of last year. So, um, all throughout the years. Now, reflecting a confluence of factors affecting major economies. Ngayon kasi, China's growth, no? Lumalaki bigla yung economy ng China, no? Unfortunately, it declined following a combination of a needed regulatory tightening to rein in shadow banking and an increase in trade tensions with the United States. Medyo nagkakaroon lang ng lapses sa economy dahil ng China kasi nga with the trade tensions with the United States even until now, no? So yung Euro area economy lost more momentum than expected as consumers and business confidence weakened and car production in Germany was disrupted by the introduction of new emission standards. So ito yung mga nangyari within the past 3 years, no? 2017, 2018, and 2019. Now, okay. Conditions have eased in 2019 as the US Federal Reserve signaled a more accommodative monetary policy stance and markets became more optimistic about the US-China trade deal. But they remain slightly more restrictive than in the fall. Yun lang nasa no. Now this is found in the International Monetary Fund website, no. It's one of the leading sabihin natin financial institutions in the world. Now, if you look at the economy of the 2020, I'm sure I'll just put it in your one of your activity sa inyong module. If you look at the economy of the 2020 during the first 6 months, that is from January to the present, no? June, 6 months yon. Now, if you look at it, starting at least March, no? The third month, on the third week of the year 2020 until the present. If you'd notice, medyo nagdi-decline na din yung economy. Why? Because, of course, one factor that I've previously discussed is, of course, the disease. Like, right now, COVID-19, di ba? So, with the presence of the COVID-19 virus, the economy of the world tends to drop down. Hindi naman siya gradually na drop down, pero slowly it drops down. Like, look at the, um, take for example lang, for instance, itong economy natin sa Pilipinas. What have you noticed? Di ba medyo nagdi-decline na rin kahit pa, pakonti-konti nagdi-decline ang ating economy. Why? With the restrictions right now of the government when it comes to movement, and of course sa businesses, although some areas like Metro Manila, who is under still the GCQ, no? And of course dito sa atin sa Olonga po medyo still under GCQ, pero 50% of the establishment were open. Like, tignan nyo ngayon. Compare the situation right now in terms of economy. Right now, within last year, the same month, no? What have you noticed? Kung nung last year, everything's normal, everything's like that, galaw, yung human movement was free, and of course something like that, no? But then comes June, July 2020, ano nangyari? Pakonti-konti na tao due to the virus. Of course, ang medyo umangat ngayon is yung mga patients, no? Yung mga nagkakaroon ng um, simptomas ng COVID-19, medyo alarming na rin. So, in this case kasi, ang economy could also play a part in the pandemics, no? Like, there are some businesses right now that shuts down. Nag-shutdown na kasi wala nang kinikita. Say for example, right now the tourism industry is almost down, no? Yung tourism industry, like sabi natin sa airline, sa travel agencies and something like that, medyo nagdi-decline sila ngayon, and most of them are shutting down kasi nga mahina ang kita. Like, 'di ba nga, yung movement yung galaw ng tao ngayon, yung movement ngayon hindi very restrictive na. And at the same time, oh, um, one of the most important aspects is the social distancing, no? Like for example, sa bus. Sa bus kasi ang napapansin ko, it's like, 'di ba, usually 3 or 2 yung seats. If it's 3 seats, siguro only one can sit. Isa lang pwede. Hindi mo pwedeng lagyan ng X mark yung gitna. Sa 2 seats, ganun din. Isa lang talaga pwede sumakay. So meaning to say, yung movement na tao, medyo nakaka-apekto rin sa ating economy. Okay. Now, the economic systems. Now, in the economic systems, we will be discussing 3 types of economic systems. Now, you have the capitalism, the socialism, and the mixed economy. Okay, the capitalism, also known as the market economy. In the free market economy, firms and households act in self-interest to determine how resources get allocated, what goods get produced, and who buys the goods. This is opposite to how a command economy works, where the central government gets to keep the profits. Now, there is no government intervention in a pure market economy, or what they call it, the laissez-faire. Now, however, there no truly free market economy exists in the world. For example, no, sa Amerika, America may be a capitalist nation. Our government still regulates, or their government still regulates their or attempts to control fair trade, government programs, honest business, monopolies, etc. Now, in this type of economy, there is a separation of the government and the market. So, magkahiwalay, no? This separation prevents the government from becoming too powerful and keeps their interest aligned with that of the markets. So, let me tell you that the advantage and disadvantage of the market economy, or what we call it, the capitalist. Now, the advantage, consumers pay the highest price they want to, and businesses only profitable goods and services. Now, there is a lot of incentive for entrepreneurship. Now, this competition for resources leads to the most efficient use of factors of production since businesses are very competitive. Businesses invest heavily in research and development, and there is an incentive for constant innovation as companies compete for to provide better products for consumers. So yun yung advantage ng um, capitalism. Now, for the disadvantage, due to the fairly competitive nature of the free market, businesses will not care for the disadvantaged, like the elderly or the disabled. This lack of focus on societal benefit leads to higher income inequality. Now, since the market is driven solely by self-interest, economic needs have priority over and human needs like providing healthcare for the poor. Consumers can also be exploited by monopolies. So yun yung advantage and disadvantage ng capitalism or what we call it the market economy. Okay, socialism aka or also known as command economy. Now, itong command economy, it is a large part of the economic system is controlled by centralized power. For example, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republic or the Soviet Russia. Okay, most decisions were made from the central government, aka doon sa Kremlin, no? So, this type of economy was the core of the communist philosophy. Take for example China, no? China itself has this socialist economy. But that was before, no? Later, I will introduce you to one of the economic aspects right now of China. Now, since the government is such a central feature of the economy, it is often involved in everything from planning to redistributing sources. A command economy is capable of creating healthy supply of its resources and it rewards its people with affordable prices. This capability also means that the government usually owns all the capital industries like utilities, aviation, and railroads. Okay, advantages and disadvantages of command economy and socialism. If executed correctly, the government can mobilize resources on massive scale. This mobility can provide jobs for almost all citizens. Now, ganito kasing ginagawa din ng China ngayon, ano? Um, they can mobilize all the resources and they can provide jobs for almost all citizens. The government can focus on the good of society rather than an individual. Now, this focus can lead to a more efficient use of the resources. Okay? So, lang. Now, it is hard for the central planners to provide for everyone's needs. This challenge forced the government to ration because it cannot calculate demand since it's, it sets prices. Second, there is a lack of innovation since there is no need to take risk. Workers are also forced to pursue jobs the government deems fit. Okay, then you have the mixed economy. A mixed economy is a combination of different types of economic system. This economic system is a cross between a market economy and a command economy. In the most common types of mixed economies, the market is more or less free of government ownership, except for a few key areas like transportation or sensitive industries like defense and railroad. However, the government is also usually involved in the regulation of private businesses. The idea behind mixed economy was to use the best of both worlds. in corporate policies that are socialist and capitalist. To a certain extent, most countries have mixed economic system. For example, India and France are mixed economies. Let me tell you something, no? Pati Pilipinas din kasi is a mixed economy, no? Some of the corporations were owned by the government, kaya nga meron tayong tinatawag na government-owned and controlled corporations. And then at the same time, we have this private ownership, like yung mga gaya ng mga Ayala, Lopez, no? Yung mga ganon. So at the same time, it works both ways. Kasi may mga companies din na galing sa government and then you have the private companies. Hindi lang natin pwedeng i-issue yung gagaya nung sa ABS at saka sa Meralco na dating nasa government pero binili ng mga Lopezes or binigay ni Aquino sa mga Lopezes. Hindi na natin take yon. Okay, advantage and disadvantages. There is less government intervention than a command economy. This results in private businesses that can run more efficiently and cut costs down than a government entity. Now, the government can intervene to correct market failures. For example, most governments will come in and break up large companies if they abuse monopoly power. Another example could be the taxation of harmful products like cigarettes to reduce negative externality of consumption. Governments can create safety net programs like healthcare or social security. In mixed economy, governments can use taxation policies to redistribute incomes and reduce inequality. Now, the disadvantages. Now, there are criticisms from both sides, arguing that sometimes there is too much government intervention and sometimes there isn't enough. Now, a common problem is that state-run industries are often subsidized by the government and run into a large debts because of their they are uncompetitive. Sounds familiar? Sounds familiar. Kayo na bahala. Okay. Now, we have the World Bank four category system. Okay. So, the first category system is the low-income countries. Now, the low-income countries have GNP per capita of less than $766. The characteristics shared by countries at this income level are the following: limited industrialization and percentage of population engaged in agriculture and subsistence farming. Pangalawa, high birth rates. Mataas ang birth rate. Mababa ang literacy rate. Heavy reliance on foreign aid. Political instability and unrest. And the concentration is in Africa, which is the south of Sahara Desert. Okay, as you can see here, dito, you have most countries that are in the low-income countries are mainly from Africa. And some of them are from also Asia, like Afghanistan, Nepal, and then you have also Tajikistan, and other nations. And mostly kasi kung makikita ninyo dito is more on Africa. Okay. Then you have the low middle income countries or the what they call it, the less developed countries. Sometimes countries that can be assigned to lower and lower middle income categories are known collectively as less developed countries or LDCs. Now this to indicate a contrast developing upper middle income and countries and developed high income countries. Lower income countries are those with GNP per capita between $766 and $3,035. Sino-sino kaya sila? Check natin. You have what? Angola, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Bolivia, Cabo Verde, Cameroon, Congo, Djibouti, Egypt, and of course, us. Now we are in the lower middle income countries or lower middle income country. Why? We still rely on foreign aid, pero we can stand on uh, at least a small amount, no? Sa atin, sa mga kinikita natin. Pero eventually rin kasi, ang totoo niyan, we still cannot stand on our own feet, kaya nga umaasa pa rin tayo sa foreign aid. Take for example, I don't want to make this an issue, pero take a look at the what's happening right now. With the COVID-19 that is happening, especially in the Philippines, nakailang utang na tayo sa sa ibang bansa. Like sa World Bank, IMF, foreign countries, foreign agencies, nakailan na? Almost magkano na yung total? 'Di ba? Hmm. So, usually, tayo kasi umaasa pa rin tayo sa sa foreign aid, no? So, yun 'yon. Then you have the upper middle income countries. Now, these countries are also known as industrializing or developing countries with a GNP per capita ranging from 3,036 to 9,385. In these countries, the percentage of the population engaged in agricultural dropped sharply as people move to industrial sector and the degree of urbanization increases. Sino-sino ang mga nandyan? You have, of course, Brazil and China. Akala natin first high income country in China, but we are wrong, no? China is an upper middle income country, no? Hindi siya napapasama sa high income country kasi nga medyo malaki-laki rin na yan. And also some of our ASEAN neighbor like Malaysia, you have also um, yes, no, yung mga Malaysia, ganun yun. Then you have high income countries that are also known high income countries that is also known are also known as advanced, developed, and industrialized or post-industrialized countries that they have a GNP per capita of above 9,386, with the exception of a few oil-rich nations. Now, the countries in this category reach their present income levels through a process of sustained economic growth. Sino-sino ba sila? Kokonti lang naman. No, you have who else? No, you have Canada, you have Chile, Finland, France, Germany, Hong Kong. Yan, mga Asian countries. Ano pa ba? You have Japan, of course. You have New Zealand. Yan. Siyempre, di mawawala ang South Korea, United Arab Emirates or UAE, United Kingdom, and of course, the United States of America. Now, okay. So the six core claims of market globalism. First is liberalization and global integration of market. Kasi when you say market liberalization, it talks about how the market systems and the integration of markets have been involved, no? Kasi yun yung doon makikita yung markets eh. Okay. So the perspective of this claim dwells on the vital functions of the free market, on its rationality, and likewise its alleged ability to bring out the greater social integration and material progress. This can only be realized in a democratic society that values and protects individual freedom. Now, there are two established ideologies that plays important role in the market. The first is libertarian variant of liberalism, which is often referred to as neoliberalism. Neoliberals are see the importance of free market and free trade, although they are more inclined on the latter because the attitude towards big businesses has a big impact on the intrusive government actions, policies, and regulation. So the driving idea of globalization, is a free market capitalism. No, gaya ng sinabi ko. Now, market globalists view globalization in the following manner. Una, the natural economic phenomenon whose essential qualities are liberalization and integration of global markets. Pangalawa, the reduction of governmental interference in the economy, like privatization, free trade, and unfettered capital movements are portrayed as the best and most natural way of for realizing individual property and material progress in the world. So, yung mga market globalists kasi, they can become successful because they persuaded the public that their neoliberalism accounts of globalization represents objectives or at least neutral diagnosis rather than a direct contribution of the emergence of the very conditions it conveys to analyze. Then, the globalization is also inevitable and irreversible. So, the perspective of this claim, too, is that globalization reflects on the spread of irreversible markets, force driven by technological innovations that makes the global integration of national economies inevitable. So, governments, political parties, and social movements have no choice but to adjust to the inevitability of the globalization. Their sole remaining task is to coordinate and provide necessary facilitations on the integration of national economies that in the new market, global market. This means that states and interstate systems would should therefore serve to ensure the smooth working of players in the world market. Um, According to Frederick Smith, no, the CEO of the Federal Express Corporation or FedEx, states that globalization is irreversible. Now, the globalization is inevitable and inexorable, and it's accelerating. Globalization is happening. It is going to happen. It does not matter whether you like it or not. So, nangyayari yan, no? Whether we like it or not. So, in order to survive and prosper, market globalists must adapt to the discipline of the market so they could easily convince the people as such claim of inevitably serves a number of important functions as follows. So, ayan, no? It neutralizes the challenges of altered globalist opponents by depoliticizing the public discourse about globalization. Now, neoliberal policies are above politics because they simply carry out what is ordained by nature. Now, this view implies that instead of acting according to a set of choices, people merely fulfill world market laws that demands the elimination of the government controls. No? So, yun yun. Okay, nobody is in charge of globalization, as in nobody. So, this perspective focuses on the classical liberal concept of the self-regulating market. The semantic link between globalization market and the adjacent idea of no leader is simple. Globalization does not reflect the arbitrary agenda of particular social class or group of the undisturbed working of the market. Indeed, preordained a certain course of history. According to Robert Hormat, he emphasized that the great beauty of globalization is that no one is in control. It should not be controlled by any individual, any government, and any institution. It's free, no? But nobody is in control. According naman kay Thomas Friedman, he supported, of course, the latter's idea. Now, the most basic truth about globalization is no one is in charge and that the global market is an electric herd of most often anonymous stocks, bonds, and currency traders and multinational investors. Globalization benefits everyone, and that is very obvious. No? Why? The adjacent of the idea of benefits for everyone is usually unpacked in material terms, such as the economic growth and prosperity. This perspective is supported by the joint statement of the powerful industrialized nation in 1996 G7 summit in Lyons, France. So ganito yung kanilang statement, ano? Economic growth with the progress in today's independent world is bound up with the process of globalization. Now, globalization provides great opportunities for the future, not only for our country, but for all others too. Its many positive aspects include unprecedented expansion of investments and trade, the opening up to international trade of the most populous regions and opportunities for more developing countries to improve their standards of living, the increasingly rapid dissemination of information, and the proliferation of skilled jobs. Kaya nga, ano, it benefits everyone, no? Like for example, our gadgets, no? Our cell phones na ginagamit nyo pang vlogging, di ba? No, yung mga ano like mga PC, mga laptops, no, lahat ng gadgets, it benefits everyone, no? And this is also a part of the globalization. Okay. As John Meehan puts, an episodic dislocation such as mass unemployment and reduced social service might be necessary in the short run. But in the long run, they will give way to quantum leaps in productivity. Hence, market globalists like Meehan justifies the real human cost of globalization as the short-term price of economic liberalization. So globalization spreads further the spread of democracy in the world. Now, this claims to link globalization and market, the adjacent concept of democracy, which also plays a significant role in liberalism, conservation, and socialism. According to Frieden, he coined the word Thatcherism. Thatcherism, the globalist tends to treat freedom, free markets, free trades, and democracy as synonymous terms. So, magkakasama yon. Okay, Francis Fukuyama asserted that there exists a clear correlations between a country's level of economic development and successful democracy. While globalization and capital development do the not automatically produce democracy, but the level of economic development resulting from globalization is conducive to the creation of complex civil societies and with a powerful middle class. It is this class of societal structure. However, Fukuyama's argument lies on limited definition of democracy and emphasizes formal procedures as such as voting. Okay, ito na nga. Globalization requires war on terror. I get what you're thinking. Paano? Claim 6 is a neoconservative commitment to American values of freedom and security and free markets. This is supported by Kaplan in his statement that you also have to have military and economic power behind it or else your ideas cannot spread. This final claim combines the idea of economic globalization with openly militaristic and nationalistic ideas associated with the American-led global war on terror. Now, this gives you an idea, no? Although this is just my own opinion. The US always go to war in terms of money. Why? They spend lots and lots of money in preparing for war or an invasion. Take, for example, yung nangyari during the Gulf War. They accused the United States of entering into the war with Saddam Hussein's Iraq by while he was invading Kuwait na parang gusto lang mag-entry ng US dahil they are not really after Saddam Hussein but they are after the oil. No, yun yung mga parang naging accusations dun sa ano na they're not after the Saddam Hussein but they're after the oil. Ika nga there uh, there uh, there is there is money when there is war. Yun ang nagiging strategy ng United States eh. Kaya nga minsan kaya nga parang if you are going to sense it, parang gusto ngayon i-trigger ng Amerika ang China. And of course, what will happen is of course World War III and of course money. So, basically, yun yung anim na claims do sa globalization. So, this will be the video for um, module 2 and I hope to see you again for the video naman for module 3. So, thanks for watching. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, no? Para mas makita nyo ulit. And of course, nandito lahat ng mga ano nyo, yung pamula module 1 hanggang dito. No? So, tuloy-tuloy pa yan. So, subscribe lang kayo to my channel and please click the notification button para kung sakali man may bagong upload, at least nandun na rin yung mga lesson. Okay, so I'll see you on Module 3.